our today's topic is a little bit different. Mainly we'll concentrate on how to use content to attract your customers, to involve, to engage your customers. So, Johanna, stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Does this work? Yes, it does. Can I have my... Thank you. Don't applaud before I start speaking. That puts a lot of pressure on me. Now, I would like, before I start, just seeing how the audience is put together. So, first of all, the students. Where are the students? Not so many. I was told lots of students are coming. Any destinations here? Destinations or suppliers from destinations? I know a few. And can I ask you what segment you represent? Hotel? Business. DMC, supplier or? Okay, very interested. A corporate planner. So, any of the hosted guests, the hosted buyer guests? It's not a nice word, but it's the guests that actually bring the business to the exhibitors here. And here in that corner, who do we have here? Exhibitors? Are you exhibitors? No? Visitors?
I'm a journalist.
Journalists? Organizers? Well, okay, a good mixture of everything. And that is what exactly is the topic about, how to use content throughout all levels of how we cooperate with each other. It's not just something to be used to promote and market. It's much, much more, and it can provide lots of solutions for problems at hand to all of us in the industry. So that is the topic. My background is destination marketing. We are a PR and marketing agency based in Germany and based in India. And we work for international destinations in exploring markets for them, helping them to brand their product, helping them to get business. That is the background. I am in digital and content marketing since about 5 years, very intensively. It was a hard learn for me. I'm not exactly a digital native, so I'm a little bit too old for that. And I'm still not the technical nerd into this, but I understand what it means to network. And I understand the needs of both my destination clients as well as the planners in the market. And just by getting this together, you don't have to know every little detail in technical issues, because there's always specialists that can help you. And with nowadays tools, it's rather easy, even for people that start learning, to get into the subject and understand what you can achieve with content marketing. So my agenda for today is to discuss with you what exactly is content marketing, because everybody uses the term. Everybody talks about storytelling. So what does it mean? It's probably different understandings by different people for the same subject. Then I would like to show you if it's PR and marketing, or PR or marketing, or whatever it is, what is the difference? How can you use the different tracks for different target groups? Then a case study for storytelling, because many people don't understand how to get as much content into platforms or into tracks. It's easy to have the technical side, but then you need to fill it. And you need to fill it with good material, with good quality. And last of the presentation is about complexity management. And you see why I have that topic on my agenda. Because if you build up a cloud, a network of communication channels, you will have to set strategies and you will have to manage it somehow to make the best out of it and to get it done with few resources. As everybody has the same problems, we don't have 10 people that we can sit there to write stories and tweet and do all that. So we have to be very careful how we set it up. And we start with the term of content marketing. Now, the official definition from an association for content marketing is that it has to be valuable, it has to be relevant, and it has to be supportive to your business reason. We don't do content marketing for the sake of content marketing or to boost our egos or to be out there to tell rubbish. We really use it for strategic approach to our target groups. And that is something that is very important. It also means, content can be anything, yeah? A picture, a video, a sentence, a story, a press release, everything is content. So when we talk about content here, and the much loved term of storytelling is we dip into what we want to present, and then we see what is the target group and what do they really want to read. And then it's different target groups in different channels. So we have to have a strategy for each of the channels to accomplish our objective with that whole thing. It's really important that this is content that is used for business purposes. It's not private content. Nobody's interested to hear if you are eating ice cream after lunch or so. It really should be something of relevance. I don't say there can't be personal messages. There can. It depends on the occasion, it depends on your target group, and it depends on the channel. Like we use, for example, Facebook only for such personal things, doing a party with a team, you communicate that on Facebook, but we would never tweet it or we would never put it in LinkedIn or something like that. So what elements do we have? When we speak of own content, it means that is content that we create. We have the copyright on it. I sit down and say, this is a topic I want to have a story about. I'm searching for information, I put the article. Like in the old times, when you wrote a press release or you did your newsletter, you have to search for the content and set it up. That, of course, takes the most time. So this is the part where really someone with a PR experience, with an ability to express himself, with the knowledge of the target group comes in and does proper work, like a journalist. This is the writing part. Then the term of curated content. Who of you knows what is curated content? Not really. You all know what a curator in a museum does. If you have an exhibition, you have a very experienced person that is selecting the items to exhibit along a certain topic. He knows where to get them, who is the best ones, and he combines it so he can give an overall good impression of the topic. That is a curator. And curated content means you use other people's content with regards of copyright, that's another issue, and you pick the content that is really of relevance to your target group or for your purpose. Then you can just retweet it or reshare it on LinkedIn. That is not much of a problem. If you use it to create own texts from it, you have to regard the copyrights very much, also with the pictures that you are sharing. In our case, when you work for a destination, or if you are a venue, you want to introduce something, you usually use the sources of partners you are related with, because then you can tell them, look, we are building up this new system, and we use your information. Can we do that? Let them give you a written confirmation, also for the picture copyrights, so you are not responsible in case they do not work properly and you might get sued because you use somebody else's picture. That is a very important issue. And then you have user-generated content. I take the example of marketing a destination. What is user-generated content? If I succeed to involve the meeting planners into producing or assisting or supporting through their own content into my system, that is user-generated content. An example, we do a fam trip in a destination. We have a group of planners. We give them space to explore something on themselves, and in the evening we sit together. We have prepared the hashtags, the channels, whatever they need, and someone of our team or of the destination teams works as a social media captain, as we say, and helps the people to post. For the young people, this might be a very strange story, but there are people in higher ages that do not really work every day with social media, and they feel more comfortable if you help them doing that. And we don't want to just focus on the youngsters to do it. We want everybody that is of relevance in our business, and support them as much as possible to work with these tools, which is also good learning for them, and they appreciate. We've done this format of fam trips often, and it really shows good results. And that is the best kind of stories, because that is produced by a colleague for his colleagues or for her colleagues. And that is really appreciated by the market, by the buyers or the planners in the market. When we write something, of course, we always have the purpose of selling something, yeah? I mean, not directly, but that's the overall approach. But if Miss Müller is on a fam trip and is enthusiastic about the food in the evening in that particular restaurant and writes about it, it's much more authentic and it's much more credible. So user-generated content is great content, and in B2B environments, rather difficult to achieve. You've got to be creative and find new formats to engage your target audience, because if you don't give them a real benefit with it, it's, they just don't do it. So you have to really take them through the process and help. Well, who of you knows what a social media newsroom is? Nobody. Okay, a newsroom is a term that is actually outdated already, I find. It was a term that we used 4 or 5 years ago, and it means a platform where all the channels in which you communicate come together, like a pool of communication, and you have your Twitter widget there. Anybody who doesn't know what a widget is? It's the little window that shows your tweets. So you have a Twitter widget, you have your Facebook, you have your LinkedIn groups, whatever, the Pinterest, the Instagram, the video on YouTube, plus your blog, plus whatever, newsletters that you can get. So it's all in one platform. A newsroom as such is one channel, but it's also a pool of other channels. When I say it's outdated, 3, 4, 5 years ago, you had to create a newsroom. You had to create the interfaces with the channels and everything, which was not so easy. Now, this is ready available. Now you have tools, thousands and thousands of plugins. You use WordPress systems in most of the cases because they're the most flexible. They are cheap. You can accomplish anything with them. So it's really now a different time, and we can't really use the term of newsroom anymore. It's more of an information platform. It's actually like an online broadcasting or an online magazine, if you succeed to put enough content on it. If you don't, it's not really a magazine, because then it's static. And static is the least what you want to have in content marketing. So, sorry, I have to something is in here. That tickles my throat. So in order to really provide a good platform with good dynamic content, you have to mix all of that. You have to bring some own content to prove your expertise, to prove your competence, because if you just retweet or share things that other people write, you might not be considered as being such an expert in what you do. Ideally, you share, and also you pull in your target group to provide content. Is that clear, or do you have any questions so far? Please feel free to ask. Yeah, this is supposed to be not just my talking. So it's mixing, and last but not least, content is trust. You have to trust the person that is doing this work for you. There's PR agencies all over, but if they're really familiar with the subject you want to talk about, that is another question. And content is a matter of understanding the subject in depth, so you really can curate, you can write about it. Why? Here we are. So what is the target groups when we speak about our industry again? We have, first of all, the destinations, the venues, a DMC maybe, a hotel, whoever wants to really publish information and get out to target groups to get business. So the first target group of, no, it doesn't work. You see the first target group is the event planners. Event planners is agencies, PCOs, all the intermediaries. They work for corporate planners, so they might use content as well to achieve business from their corporate clients. And the event attendees, the final consumers of a meeting or of a congress, and the corporate planners also need to attract the event attendees. So it's actually everybody is everybody's target group. And if you are the one in the very beginning, the destination or the venue or the hotel, you have to think of the whole row, not just of the event planners, but also of their clients and of their clients, to make it a systematic approach. And then you have the media speaking to all these groups, to the event planners, this is mainly the MICE industry meetings, to the corporate planners, this is more economic media, like we work with media from pharmaceutical, medical, banking, finances, chemical, offices, training, whatever. There's a lot of specialized media for the industries that use international meetings. So we use this track to really speak to the corporate event planners and also to the attendees of events, to inform them about our destination. And just to show you an example, for the question PR and marketing or PR or marketing, or however you want to define it, everybody has a different understanding. I don't know why the pointer not works. On the right side, you see on this picture, on this chart, you see the cloud with which we work with regards to tracks. This is our company network. It is not including clients' networks. When we co-create and co-produce information, we have the same network maybe on the client side, and we have to get those together. And mind map is a good tool to work on that, because with a mind map, you really can define your channels, you can define your target groups, and build a tree that is covering everything in the optimal way. So here you have the newsroom in the middle. The newsroom is the pool, as I explained, everything is coming together there. There's a lot of visitors that go directly to the newsroom, but there's a lot of other tracks that bring the people to the newsroom. It's important because if you don't do that, you might have the most beautiful newsroom. If nobody knows about it, then who should visit it? Of course, SEO helps. I mean, they will find you if they look for keywords, but it's better to additionally work in other channels which are used. For example, LinkedIn. Who of you is using LinkedIn? Yeah, quite a lot. I think that is really a platform that is strongly picking up in our industry now. Even on the domestic level, like in the German market, for example, there is Xing, which is a domestic business platform in German language. 3-4 years ago, Xing was the tool to be used if anybody used a tool like that. But now people start switching to LinkedIn, and my community there with planners is growing on a day-to-day basis. So it's every day new planners are coming in. You can tag a little bit, you can't really do database work very deeply, but you can help yourself and use it for special messages. So you see there is Xing and LinkedIn. We have 3 groups in LinkedIn, 2 in Xing. Then there is social media profiles, Facebook, Pinterest, blah, 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 Instagram, company profiles. Then an email with which you shuffle people to read your news and possibly visit your newsroom and follow you on other channels. Then social media accounts. We also have different ones. Like Twitter, we have one for the media, we have one for the marketing, and we have one for myself, with different strategies and messages. Then Piranha Press is a Twitter account for media where the journalists look for information, and email as well. So this is a basic cloud of a communication network that you're using, and then you see what kind of message goes in what channel, how can it interact. Where are we? Yeah. The theme of storytelling. Now we get there. What does storytelling achieve? To start with, the search engine optimization. This is a very, very important issue for storytelling. And that concerns both the speed you publish stories, as well as the content of the stories, the keywords. If someone works with Google Analytics, you know how to chase for keywords and to compare, and you should do that before you define a strategy, because you will be amazed how different the search engines react. Like, you think it's a great new term, I want to use that, it's a destination. I love the term destination. Now check how many people look for the word destination, and it's not so many. So you use maybe better an old-fashioned word like Zielgebiet or something like that, and that reduces the possibilities how you can express yourself. It's very important. And the stories then you build around your keywords. We do it in the office that we have the keywords printed, and they're there, and when we publish something, we try to use as many keywords as possible for this particular destination or client. So the SEO is very important. The social media is very important because, as I mentioned, if you have a newsroom and you post a great blog and the people come back a month later and there is still this one great blog, and 2 weeks later there is again this great one blog, they won't repeatedly come. Because why should they? They visit you repeatedly because you are posting different information. So as a general idea, it should be any blog or anything that really works with blog entries should have a minimum of 2 blogs a week. 2 blog entries, not too many, also not on Twitter. If you do like 20 tweets in a row, people will most likely unfollow you because it's getting on their nerves and it's taking too much space of their time. So these are little things to consider. And in the end, we do the storytelling to generate leads. We want that people really say, wow, Vilnius, such a great place, and really, can you do that there? And there's a case study that sounds very interesting. So why let's not try Vilnius for the next time? And that is what you finally want to achieve. Just to give a little idea of how many channels are there out there, but I don't give a damn on this kind of information anymore, because from what we see in our industry, for what we need, it's actually a few channels that work perfectly. There are new ones, there are some to play, like Newsle, I don't know how to pronounce it, Newsle, you know, channels where you can check your buddies or where you can check several things or do some research. Fine, but that's a little bit of play. The ones that you really want to publish, you need a good picture account where you can do campaigns which you can use to share pictures. You need, of course, a YouTube in case you have videos, and you need a Twitter, LinkedIn account, and a blog. That's a basic equipment, and that is easy to handle. So, yeah, a case study. Now, what exactly do you write when you write something? You have a convention center, like this beautiful Lead Expo, and you're supposed to do content marketing for the center. Yeah, that's easy. Let's start. We have rooms, we have this and food and a caterer and offer that service. Fine. That is not really the content we are talking about. This is factual information. This is probably on your website anyway. What we want is stories. So how do you create stories for a convention center, for example? Take an example of an exhibition that is taking place here, which is about medical supplies. So you say, okay, medical business is good for my venue. I want to reach out and reach people interested in doing medical meetings or medical incentives. So you take this example and you say, okay, I have this exhibition. What can I do now? I can, of course, post that I have this exhibition. This is the first step. And then you look for own content. What is my science supply here? What is the university doing in that context? Do we have any leading experts? Are there speakers at this conference or at these exhibitions from local institutes that have a special expertise? And then try to source those. Follow them. Maybe they have a blog. Maybe you can find some interesting content that you can share, or you do an interview with them, or you ask them any questions. How are you involved? Why are you speaking about that? Are you the only one in Europe that knows that? You know, all themes without dipping too deep, because you are not a medical scientist, but that what you can get with your common sense as a PR person, and with a little of research, you can find out. And then you look for other sources like medical papers or whatever you have in your market, and see what is there, what you could share in that context. Do an interview with the organizer. We've done that for a venue we work for an exhibition, and the organizer was so happy about the service of the staff of the venue that he really was praising them. And it's not that we told him to praise it, he did it voluntarily. And that was really great, because he gave us examples. He said there was a challenge here, there was a political challenge there. He explained how they could help. It was a wonderful interview, you know? These kind of stories you can find. You have to be creative. And then you create from curated content. You look who is publishing something. You see what are the partners of that trade show or of that exhibition. The sponsors, check on what digital channels they are publishing. See if there is anything that you can use from their channels, redistribute. So there is really a lot of options. You just start with one point and you use your guts to think about, how can I get this theme? I guess it's the traditional work a journalist is doing the research, finding related articles, finding related sources, and create your content from it. And then you already have lots of stories to publish in your venue's system. And if you have more events, more congresses, you can do that for each of them, or focus on a few industries. Like, for example, in this case, pharmaceutical, medical magazines. Also online, there's a lot of online publications now in all regards, economically as well as in trade. And that is the best way, because it's fast. You know, if you put a text on your website and you send an email to those magazines and you Twitter it, you will get publications. If it's a good text, most likely, because they're happy to get good quality content, which fits their theme, and then they will also publish it. Well, only when you have set up all that, you can use it to make campaigns. You can also use campaigns to build up your channels, but the best system is if you have a communication system in place, and then you combine it with the activities you do. Like in our case, destination marketing. If you do a promotional event, a roadshow, you can use your channels to introduce the partners in that roadshow. Send them pictures, give them certain topics. If the event has an overall topic, you research information regarding that topic and get it to the planners. Sending out invitations to meet someone or to make an appointment. You give them related information about the person that is coming. Have you heard of the second screen in conferences? This is when a speaker is there, and there is a banner or another screen that shows information about the speaker. For me, that's madness, because I want to focus on the speaker. Also in TV, when I hear the news and there is this latest news, it drives me mad. But I said it's a matter of how you grow up. The young people will find that completely normal. You also post your tweets, or you check your emails and you listen to the presenter and you look at the second screen. This is how you have a safe recipe to get mad one day. But that's the way things go, and that's the way conferences are set up now. So that really helps you to engage and to put, whatever you do, campaigns, for example, we do sales campaigns in a way that we're sending out an online survey. Then we publish the online survey on some of the channels. We collect the answers. We send the results. we then call the people that answer to make appointments with them or to check for their interest for the product. And then we invite them for a fam trip, and then we write about the fam trip. So this is how it goes. You have like a package consisting of 3, 5, 7 steps, and when you do that, you will be noticed. Then the planners will really see you are serious, you know what you do, they find you in the channels where they are looking for your information. And in the conferences, I wonder why we don't have any Twitter walls here, or have you seen any? I was tweeting, you know, I thought, I'm on the Twitter wall, but no Twitter wall, so my tweets are findable with the hashtag, but they are not there. Personally, I find that getting a little bit boring in general with the tweets, with the Twitter walls, but it can also really add value. It's especially in smaller communities like ours, you know most of the people, you're interested to see what they comment on and how they evaluate certain things. It's a nice game during trade shows or during exhibitions. But there are much, much more options. I mean, you can actually have screens in the hotels of the delegates where you send certain information. You can work with playlists that you send to different screens and inform the people. You can deliver messages to your screening in the venue. So lots of things are really connected with that content. Just take trade shows, if you have a trade show stand, and you have great content otherwise, you can use part of the content to display on the trade show. You can use it to feed into the trade show's own channel. So there is no limit for creativity. You can do everything. You can work with tools where you archive videos. Let's take a big destination, Spain. Just an example. They don't do it, but just as an example. They must have made campaigns, lots of them, in the past 3-4 years. Now, why should you invent the wheel every time new? You have made great movies, you have had great campaigns, you paid a photographer, you did that. Where the hell is all this? Then your US office needs photos for a certain topic, and you say, 2 years ago we had this campaign, there must be photos somewhere. Until you find them, until you select them, it's a day or more of work, or you just give up on the way. You can probably nicely archive all that. You can give people access to it and use it for their own needs in different countries. You can work in teams with colleagues in other countries or in your PR agency. There's lots of things. You can tag videos in sequences. Let's say your client is Mercedes, and you have a video of an exhibition, and you just tag the sequence with the Mercedes star. So you have the tag, and you can just get 5 video clips, exactly that 5 seconds where the star is coming up. So this is all steps that are achievable with not such a huge effort as you might think, but it's really sophisticated, and it's already good to have a system in place that shows the basic channels and that works good for you. In case you have that set up, you automatically develop because you learn so much. You all the time have a challenge. You have to think, how do I publish that? What do I write here? How can I find something new because people have seen it? There is a tool that does online polls. I've used it. I forgot the name now, but it's something you put in your blog, and you ask some questions, and everybody that is answering the question can see the results. So immediately you have the percentages. It's fun, isn't it? So you can do that when you speak or when you are, I don't know, presenting something or preparing something. You do a little poll like that. You show it online. It's great. It's a great playground to learn, to explore, to steadily develop and be out there, visible as a competent communication organization. Post-conference, of course. I mean, if we go home from this event, we can Twitter and greet each other or send each other pictures, but the same you can do with big congresses or with incentives or give a little platform or share whatever you want. My examples are mostly from the destination marketing side, but all this is very relevant for agencies as well. I don't understand why such few event organizers use these kind of tools to find business and to help their clients selling their business better or presenting their business better. It's really something that is in its very, very infancy with event agencies. I don't really understand that because usually these are very creative agencies and they have great material, so they should be more active in setting up communication streams. I mean, that is the conclusion. If you have this expertise and the good tools, you really can make anything that you do a hybrid thing that you do. So there is not a big secret behind hybrid events. It just means to take them to other levels and present them through various channels, not only the live channel, but the ones before and after. And you will be interactive and dynamic and connected. This is the only way to achieve that. If you're not using these kind of tools in a concerted way, as a conductor, saying these are all my channels, and I'm standing and conduct them every day. Like we have in the office, we have editorial meetings where we sit, what do we have to do this week? What have we promised this client? What is up here? So we say the topics, what is available in their channels. We use that and that, not to repeat. We don't want to write about 3 hotels in 3 different destinations, but change 1 hotel, 1 venue, 1 program. It's actually not such a mystery. It's common sense, it's PR, it's the passion for communication, the passion for your clients. Think, what do they want to hear? What can I help them with? That's how it works. Well, what else do we have? Complexity management, 8 minutes, that's fine. Why do you need complexity management? I mean, I think that should be pretty clear to everybody. If you work with many channels, you have to have the strategies and everything. But you also have to consider an aspect like the users who will be using my information, the outside world, but also the inside world. As a destination, you do also have an obligation to inform your members. A city like Barcelona has 200 members. How do you inform them about what the other members do? The DMC needs to know what new restaurants are opened. The venue needs to know what hotels do. So if you have a proper content marketing and a news stream in place, it will help you with your internal marketing as well for your members. You have internal and external content. You can build up the same just as an intranet, just for your own company, if it's a big company, to interact and to be informed. And the connectivity and co-creation, I mentioned that. There are tools that really help that people somewhere in the world can work in a special file on a certain topic, and you are the administrator and publish it, or you are responsible for the final content, or you make them responsible. Everything is possible. So it's a tool that you can work on a global level rather easily. I mean, it needs to be set up, but then you can do all your PR, your communication through that one tool. And of course, you bundle services and information. There are tools out there that offer you, for example, access. It's a software for newsrooms. So great, you easily get a newsroom, you can do it yourself, you put in your content, fine. But then you don't have the URL, the web address of your website, it's their website, and you can manage only 1-2 topics. But if you have a complex product like a destination, you have at least 6, 7, 8 topics. Maybe it's hotels, maybe it's large events, venues, maybe it's ideas for incentive programs, it's industry news, it's members, something like that. So you need to have the complexity in the system that helps you doing that. Use WordPress, it has templates that really can cover several topics at once in a very easy way. So that's just a chart to show what can all flow into a system, then how you work on it, curate, create, edit, remix, tag, cut, whatever, and then you blow it into the different channels again, and it all creates a big interaction. Well, yeah. Anybody heard of a brand portal before? That is exactly what I described, that you've done lots of campaigns and you save them somewhere and people have easy access to it and can look along tags or along keywords and use the photos, use the videos, the movies, the slogans, whatever. Yeah, what else do we have? Yeah, the secret in my eyes is that you have to learn by doing. It's a trial and error system. You try something, I thought this was a good idea, it doesn't work. You try another something, wow, it works. Suddenly you get 8 retweets in a second, you know? So you have to find out what is your messages, how to put them. There's a lot of help in all kinds of social media that helps you to create digital messages, the right keywords and everything. It takes a while if you have to do it additional to your work. If that is not your job, I just had a meeting with our IT person a couple of days ago, and we were talking about Google Analytics. And this is a real good guy. And he said, I just have basic knowledge of analytics. We have now, in my town, there is a, how do you say, Studiengang, a study in the university about Google Analytics, only Google Analytics. And the people coming that study this, they do nothing else but analytics. And it's a huge, huge area. You can do anything with it, but you really have to have the expertise. So we're not saying we're analytical specialists. We can do the basics that we need, that's fine. You can learn that as well. And if you need really in-depth analytics, then you hire a specialist. You don't have to know it all by yourself, you know, that's all. So it's really trial and error. You have to find your way and create your own strategies and your own ways of communication. But in the end, this is what companies always had to do, and this is what makes the success of one and the not so much success of the other, because one can do it better than the other. But there are experts for everything, there are solutions for everything, there are tools for everything. So I think that you can very well work with all these. Now, I have 2 more minutes. If you have any questions, now is the time. So please, please ask. I hope I didn't fill you up to here because it's a lot of information, but I thought it was necessary.
What are the most common mistakes that event planners make when it comes to content marketing?
The event planners?
Yeah, or the agencies themselves. What are the most common mistakes?
Well, I think they have not much knowledge of what they can use systems like that for. They work very traditional. In the best case, they write a newsletter to their clients, but they could, for example, set up Paperly, a daily magazine, yeah, so something like that. I don't like the system, but never mind. Something like that, or a blog. They can write, they can use the news of destinations and promote them to their clients, for example. If we write something about medical conferences and an agency has clients in that sector, my God, what's the big deal? They just source it and distribute it in their own channels. But they have to have the channels, and they have to have the understanding that there is great, precious material out there which they could use for their own purposes. So that makes me cry, you know, because I see the opportunities that are not used. It's also with associations, for association congresses. Everybody needs to attract delegates. It's not so easy to get delegates these days. So why don't you use, if the Congress is in New Zealand has the most fantastic movies, topics, science information, whatever. Get the RSS feed and put it in your blog and give that RSS feed to your website that is publishing the Congress in New Zealand. It's very easy. It's really nothing very complicated. Anybody who can work a little bit with WordPress can do that by himself. You don't even need to pay a specialist for it. So this is what I think they are not making use of it. Any other questions? Anybody here who would really consider himself a specialist on content? Or would say, I'm doing a good job? I know, Patrick, you do, because that is really great and fun what you do, but this is a very, like Patrick's company with his partner, Solnur, they do a very personal way of delivering content. It's always the two guys in different situations, they do little clips and everything. It's very nice, I like it very much. And still it's serious. I mean, still it's not Quatsch, not you know, just for the fun. It's still transporting messages, and that is very nice. So it's new for you. I mean, is that something you must explore it? The whole world is digital, and I think for the young people it will be easier to work with these systems when they are working. But those who already are in the jobs, no? This I find boring. I really expected that. Do you find it difficult? I mean, is it a subject that is intimidating or making feel uncomfortable because it's complex? Who would say yes? Nobody? Yeah, okay, that is at least, this is honest. I'm sure there must be some more, because I know a few people that are quite desperate, that haven't dealt with it yet, and now they see it exploding, and they feel they have to catch up, and they don't know where to start. And I think you should not get intimidated. You should start with something and do it properly, and you will learn it. I'm the best example. I mean, okay, if you don't want to be interactive, let's stop then. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.